Hello everyone, it is time for our monthly paper pumpkin demo. If you are not familiar with paper pumpkin, excuse me, it's a monthly kit that comes to you in a fun box. You have everything in here you need to create cards, sometimes 3D packaging. Today it is 9 cards, so 3 each of these designs. You get the adhesives you need and the embellishments. You get an ink spot. This is Misty Moonlight this month. You get a stamp set, which there's not much left on here. Here, I can show you this. So you get that stamp set with it. And it's just a fun way to create cards every month. So I always come on and demonstrate, hey buddy, this month's paper pumpkin, and then for all of my customers that get paper pumpkin from me and for the people on my team that get paper pumpkin, I give them the materials to make a bonus project. So I'll show you that one at the end. All right, so let's get started. My first thing is a caution that these 2 cards to me looked similar. So which one are we doing first? Let me make sure I get the right one. Yeah. So I did this one correct, but you'll see when we get to this third one, I thought that was the one with the birds. It worked out fine, but just warning you, just take a look. This has the kind of arched sun, I guess. But this is what the first one will look like. And there are other sentiments in here, so if you don't need a Happy Father's Day card, you can use a different sentiment and just use some of your white. Hey, Debbie. All right, let's get started. I have things everywhere. I'm working on swaps for Kay's team meeting, so my desk is a mess over here. All right, these are our pieces. We are going to stamp somewhere in here. There's a piece of white. That's what we're going to stamp our sentiment on. And then our birds go on here. So let me grab this. It helps when you're stamping a sentiment on a strip like this. It helps if you have it on this darker background, and photopolymer stamp better on this Stampin' Pierce mat. So I'm going to use my full-size Misty Moonlight. And we're just going to stamp Happy Father's Day on here. Not bad, not bad. And then we've got our birds. So let me bring my instructions back. So you've got a big set of birds and then a little set of birds. So you're going to stamp both of those. So your big group of birds. Whoops, I didn't get that one inked. There we go. Goes over here. And then there's a little set of just 3 birds. I guess they got left behind because they're back here. All right, let's close this up. That's all the stamping we're going to do on this card. Actually, I'm going to leave that. Sometimes that helps for you to see the what I'm putting the adhesives on. So it shows you these open circles or hexagons, are your Stampin' Dimensionals, and they give us a whole sheet of those. Plus you have tear and tape. So let's start getting all of our pieces, get the adhesive on the back of all of our pieces. So if it's white like this, that means it's one of your cardstock pieces. So that will help. So like this one is that big one. I'm going to do all my dimensional ones first. So we have our sentiment, and there's a small cardstock piece, and our big vellum piece. So when you do this, you can see that it's going up higher on the right, so you know that's the right way. And they do show you that they put these dimensionals towards the bottom, and you do want to do that. That way they won't show, because they would show through vellum. So just keep them towards the bottom. So they have 5 there, and then there's 3 on this guy. They won't show through this one, so. And then 3 on your sentiment. That sentiment is just being difficult for me tonight, isn't it? All right, that's all of our dimensionals. And now we have 2 pieces that we're going to put tear and tape on. So one is this smaller, and it actually is less colored on the other side, so you can tell that way too. That and our bigger cardstock piece. And they show you where to put the tear and tape. So on our cardstock, piece, it's just going to go about right there. So not all the way at the bottom. But on our vellum piece, it's going to go all the way at the bottom. Again, that's so it won't show when we adhere things. So there'll be something over the top of it that will keep it from showing up. All right, so now we have all of our pieces have the adhesive. And then they show you A, B, C, D, and that's the order you put them on, A, B, C, D, and they show you which one is which. So we're going to start with our big. So let's take all of the backings off of this. And it actually will go right along this line here. So put it at the bottom and it'll follow that line pretty closely. And so you can see all of those there, but don't worry because we're going to put something over it. So B is this guy. He's got tear and tape. So I like to use my take your pick tool, kind of burnish it a little bit to make sure it's good and stuck, and then just use that to peel it off. Again, you're going to put it at the bottom, and it kind of follows that next line. So now you can't see any of your dimensionals. All right, and C is our other vellum piece. So it has another piece of tear and tape on it. Again, put it, and there is a line there, but you can't really see it anymore because you've covered it up with all this other stuff. So attach it to the bottom. And then our last piece is this cardstock piece up on dimensional. So these cards have a lot of dimension to them. By the time you get all these layers on with dimensionals, they do have some layers. And again, this just goes at the bottom. Like that. All right. And then your sentiment, that's the last piece. And it just goes over here. And I would not try and put it on this last piece that already has dimensionals on it. So you have 2 stacked dimensionals. But there you, whoops, there you go. There is card number 1. All right. Put that one away. Get the next one. All right, this is card number 2. And the only stamping we're doing are these little birds right here. Let's find our directions for card number 2. So, yeah, it shows you just the little birds. Now, they show you, let me grab my other one, to put the dimensionals on the back side on the left. So that's this side once you turn it over, which stacks it up on there, and to me kind of leaves that. So this one I did it the other. Hopefully that didn't blip for you. It said it was trying to reconnect, so hopefully it's okay. I put them on the right side on the back, and that way, to me, it's stacked a little easier. So you can do it either way, but I liked the way it went together better with them on the right when you turn it over. Hopefully that made sense. It might make more sense once I show you. All right. Let's get all our pieces and parts and our tiny birds again. This one came with a pre-printed sentiment. That's why we're not stamping a sentiment, but we just have some little birds up here, way off in the distance, flying away. Okay. Now let's get all of our, so here, I'm going to put my dimensionals on this side so that when it stacks up on top of this, which is on dimensionals, those will be the same level and it will be dimensional, if that makes more sense. I like that better. They show it the other way. You can do it however you want. So I'm going to put mine on the right side of the back. All right, and then we need our trees. Have dimensionals. Lots of dimensionals used in this month's paper pumpkin. But you don't want any of these drooping. All right. And then our big vellum piece, grab it, has dimensionals also, but not up on this part. So just keep them below this line here and you'll be fine. So 3 across here, and then 3 across the bottom. All right, and then our last piece is this cardstock piece, and it has our tear and tape there and there. Let me grab that again. And again, we're staying below the mountains. And one at the bottom. Okay. Now we're ready to put all this together. Again, they told us A, B, C. So A is our big vellum. So it's going to go on first. And it's kind of hard to cover up all this scenery, but we're going to be building it back up, so it's okay. So again, this goes at the bottom. So it kind of follows that line. And then B is this piece. So they're kind of pointing to the lakey part. So that's this piece. And it has the tear and tape. So we'll peel that off. Now we're building back some of that scene. And it's going to kind of match up with that, but just line it up at the bottom again. All right, and then C is our trees. They'll line up here at the bottom, like that. And then our sentiment in the little white. So I put the white on first. You want to make sure you don't cover up your birds. Just put it kind of towards this tree over here on the right. And so if we had put the dimensionals on the side, they said they would stack up on top of that. And then to me, this side kind of sagged. So that's why I put them on the other side. Hopefully that's made sense now. And there you go. So these are great masculine cards. This one just good for anybody, really. All right, that is card number 2. All right, and then our last card, this is the one that I messed up on because I thought it was the other one. So you can see I put birds in there. There's not supposed to be any birds in there, but it doesn't hurt anything. All right. Get all our pieces out. So this time, we're not stamping any birds. We're just stamping "You Mean the World to Me." There it is. And we're stamping it kind of in, there's like this sun, there's this lighter part, and that's where we're stamping our sentiment. It's just right in there. There we go. All right. Our adhesive again. So that one. That one, and that's all one. Okay, so they're all getting dimensionals this time. No tear and tape this time. So this guy gets them towards the bottom. This one you want to keep them not too high up again, like we did on that last one. Not the last one, the first one. They won't show up then. They'll be covered up by this one. And then this guy, and across the bottom. And I still have some left over. All right. Again, A, B, and C, they show you. So we'll start. This is A. Again, it'll line up with some of the lines already on the card. A, and then B is our vellum. One's got a little goober on them. I punched it out. There we go. Line that up along the bottom. And then this is our last one. And we'll line it up along the bottom, and that way it'll cover all those dimensionals. And that's it. So very, very nice masculine cards. To me, anyway, they seem masculine. I mean, they'd be good for anybody. But those are the ones that we made tonight. Whoops. All right, and let me show you my bonus card. So I try and not use too much else that you wouldn't have. So I just used the Misty Moonlight, and then some of this Country Woods, or I don't no, not, I don't remember what that designer series paper is, but it carried over, and that will be in your packet. And this time I just said for a wonderful man. So again, you can give it to anybody. And I never know who's going to get the one I've demonstrated with. So you might get one already made, or you might just get the packet. And then you've got a piece of white for the inside, which I don't remember if I did. No, but you could put some birds on the inside. That would be kind of fun. We're going to do that on this one. All right, so we are going to bring this back in. We need to stamp on both of these. Okay, so we've got For a Wonderful Man. That's my birds. All right, I can get this out of the way. Okay. So just stamp this in the middle of your circle. Come on, there we go. And then stamp your birds on this. This is Textured Notes dies. These are some of my favorite dies. And I actually just did. Whoa, that was close. Almost dropped that in the ink. So I just did a kind of a cross like that. Oh yeah, we were going to do some on the inside. Just for fun. Put some birds flying across the inside. Okay. And then we just have to put it together. I try and make these pretty simple too. This goes on the inside. I don't think there were any. You could stamp the "You Mean the World to Me" on the inside if you wanted to. And then these guys just go across the top and bottom. I left a little bit of room. So they should go all the way across. I think somebody may have one that doesn't go all the way across. It'll be like your 5 1/4, because I was running out of this paper. So you may get one that's a little short, so just center it in there and that'll be fine. And then this guy just goes flat on here. I'm glad you get to watch live, Debbie. I know you don't usually get to do that. And then I put this on with dimensionals, which I happen to have some right here. I'm going to put one in the middle. It just goes in the middle here. And then I added, you can use whatever you've got. I liked these adhesive backed metallic gems just because they seemed kind of masculine to me. But whatever you have, you can use. So put one there, there, and then one more. And that's it. So again, a simple card, but I think guys would like to have that. Thank you, buddy. I'm glad you like it. All right. So let's bring in everything we made tonight. So that is everything. So our 3 cards from the kit and then our bonus one. Thank you, Debbie. I'm glad you like it too. All right. I will be live Thursday afternoon at 3. And we are going to make this card using all of the new in colors. So join me at 3 Thursday afternoon. Today is the last day to sign up for my class Thursday night. So either message me or jump on Facebook and sign up. We're going to be making, let me move these out of the way, these 3 cards. This is really cool. This is washi tape that you cut out. You put it on cardstock first. So we'll be making these Thursday nights. So if you haven't signed up already and you'd like to join me, today is your last chance. I'll be cutting everything and getting it ready tomorrow. So don't miss out on that if you want to join us. Okay, that is it. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you next time. Bye.